Hello, good evening. It's 6:05. We will start. Simulan po natin ang ating webinar sa Pambansang Awit ng Pilipinas.
Naka-on ba yung ano ko? Hindi ko marinig. Ay, Diyos.
Oh, I'm very sorry for the technical difficulties. Okay, so very sorry. Good evening po. Good evening from Toronto. My name is Sol. I will be your moderator for today. On behalf of the Philippine Overseas Labor Office, headed by our Labor Attaché, Rachel Sosobrado Nagayo, our OWA Welfare Officer, Maria Lourdes Reyes, and the rest of the POLO staff, welcome everyone to our first webinar for the year. So we're still conducting our trainings virtually, but nonetheless, we're still very happy to see everyone. Via Zoom nga lang, no? But just the same, welcome to our seminar for today. So our seminar is Career Path, and this is designed to be a two-part series. So for this session, we will be exploring your transferable skills with the help of our guest speaker. So without further ado, let me call in OWA Welfare Officer Maria Lourdes Reyes for her welcome remarks and also to introduce our speaker. Well off.
Thank you, Sol. Thank you very much. And magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. Good evening, everyone. I am Maria Lourdes Reyes, the Welfare Officer of the Philippine Overseas Labor Office, or what we call POLO here in Toronto. On behalf of the head of the POLO, Labor Attaché Rachel Sosobrado Nagayo, I would like to welcome you all to this virtual career path workshop. As mentioned by Sol, this is our first for 2021. So this workshop is a two-part seminar where we will have a chance to explore and learn about transferable skills, career goals, job search, and other career and employment processes. To all our workers who are able to come to join us here tonight, I am glad that many of you took the time out from your very busy work schedule to attend this informative session. I hope that this workshop will be the start of a journey of self-discovery, leading to skills development and a culture and love for continuous improvement. There are many seminars, trainings, and info sessions that are available for our Filipino workers, and most of them are free also. So I'd like to encourage you to take advantage of the many opportunities for learning and improvement. At Mahatma Gandhi once said, "We should live as if you were to die tomorrow, and learn as if you were to live forever." So tonight we are fortunate, very fortunate, to have with us as resource speaker Miss Jane Mendita. Miss Jane is a career development practitioner with more than 10 years of experience in career and employment counseling. She helps her clients clarify their employment and career goals so that they can make informed decisions regarding their next steps in their careers. She also helps streamline job search processes so that clients do not have to go around in circles when searching and applying for jobs. She is currently working for JBS Toronto. It's a not-for-profit employment agency offering employment guidance and support to clients from diverse backgrounds. JBS is funded by the government, thus the services are free. Jane holds a career and work counselor postgraduate diploma from George Brown College with honors and a certificate in instructing adults from the same school. She is certified to deliver Level B vocational career assessments such as personality dimensions, COPS system, Strong's interest inventory, and other career interest inventories. She has a bachelor's degree in English, recognized in Canada, with some postgraduate education with courses leading to a master's in public administration and master's of arts in teaching. Among her accomplishments included receiving the Employee Excellence Award for 2020, given to staff who displayed exceptional commitment over the past year in the areas of respect, excellence, integrity, and collaboration. She has developed partnerships with professional immigrant associations offering group mentoring programs. He coached and mentored more than 100 clients seeking guidance in job searching, changing careers, or even exploring business options. She planned and delivered workshops such as job search workshops, interviewing, increasing confidence, and other related workshops within and outside the organization. So we would like to express our appreciation and gratitude for Miss Jane for selflessly sharing her time, her knowledge, and experience for this workshop. For all of us, especially for our dear workers, let us keep exploring, keep learning, and let us have a fruitful, productive, and an enjoyable evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Well off, Miss Jane. The floor is yours. Mike po.
Thank you so much, introduction. I guess I have to adjust with everything, right? Thank you so much for everyone to everyone for coming in at on a Saturday evening at 6 o'clock in the evening. I feel so honored to be part of the workshops offered at Polo. Siguro the way I would approach this one would be, I know that there's a lot of people watching right now, including those who are in Facebook. So I would like to welcome you to this. It's going to be a short, but I would like to have an interactive workshop. I'll probably speak in Taglish, English, and Tagalog. Total, we're all Filipinos. So para magkaintindihan tayo. And thank you so much for the introduction po, Ma'am Maria. And also thank you kay Labat for being here tonight and also the staff of Polo. The other thing that I'd like to share also tonight or say is that we are all in this together. You're all welcome to this workshop. We've been in this situation for almost a year now. And I think that there are a lot of things positive things aside from the negative, we could see also some positive things that had happened. Like, for example, exploring options in terms of the use of technology to deliver services. Right now at JVS, we're also delivering online services to newcomers, to those who are looking for jobs, career changers. So I just like to introduce a little about JVS. It's a free it's a non-profit organization, organization that offers free services to everyone, like newcomers, those who are job seekers, and there are about more than I would say more than 50 employment counselors, and I'm one of them. And currently, I work as a program facilitator as well with the iPlan Practice Program. Kaya kung meron po kayong mga kakilala na architects, I coordinate the program with Ryerson University and JVS. So that's for the exact. In fact, yung clients namin ngayon are going to take their licensure exam on the 22nd to the 24th ng architects. So these are all internationally trained architects, including Filipino internationally trained architects, right? So anyway, kumusta po kayong lahat? Before I share my screen sa inyo, I'd like to ask a few questions. Maybe you could write sa chat, no, kung meron kayong tanong. Ang una kong tanong is, what made you attend this workshop? Ano po yung gusto nyong malaman dito sa workshop ngayong gabi? Anong gusto niyo? What's your main, if there's something that you'd like to take away from this workshop, what would that be? Did anyone want to share? Sa chat na lang, or if you want to share anything, just to get the ball rolling. Meron po ba? I'm just gonna wait for some questions. Put it such, pwede po ninyong ilagay sa chat. Kung ano yung gusto ninyong malaman ngayong gabi. At saka bakit ninyo gustong, why did you attend the workshop? What would you like to learn? That's nice. How to use our profession after PR. That's great. I like. So with that question, may I know, Rin, what kind of professions did you have in your previous work, and what are you doing currently? So ano yung mga trabaho ninyo ngayon?
Hello po. I'm Mrs. Pulpulaan. I was a teacher in the Philippines, and I finished PhD, and I'm a caregiver now. So I'm looking forward to use my profession here after the PR. That's it.
It's so nice to
Nakita ko,
hear.
nakita ko kasi na career pathway, so lahat naman po tayo gusto nating magamit yung pinag-aralan natin if possible.
Yes.
So, nag-join po ako. Sana makatulong yung workshop natin ngayon. Thank
Salamat.
you.
Salamat.
Thank you po.
Napakagandang example. So you have a PhD, and I'm speaking not only to Gemma, right? Gemma, this is to
Yes, ma'am.
everyone too.
Okay.
This is to everyone as well. So Gemma, sa PhD, what particular specialization do you have in PhD?
Education po.
PhD in education. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
opo.
Right.
It's literal. It's vertical. I mean, from education, then master in education, and then doctor in education.
Doctor in education. Wow, amazing. Napakaganda po ng mga...
Parang napaka-depriving kasi minsan that we work here as a caregiver, and then we can use our profession after our PR. Ay hanggang habang buhay na lang po tayo na magka-caregiver. Although, alam naman natin po na okay lang, dollar naman yan. So, practicality, basta kumikita.
Okay, that's
Pero, gusto din natin pong magamit kung ano
to
yung...
transition, right?
Opo,
to transition from...
Opo, yeah, okay po.
Mag-transition from our career right now, sa ating trabaho ngayon, to other careers. More yung opportunities natin. Nakikita ko na lahat, marami dito. I mean, meron pa bang iba na may mga ibang mga aside from being a teacher or PhD, a graduate, meron pa bang iba na gusto mag-share? Maybe you're a nurse, maybe you're a doctor, or maybe you are into an engineering. Meron po ba tayong mga participants who have also completed their university and college, and probably their master's or graduate degrees? So I think that's a great, napakaganda ng ating pag-uusapan ngayon, kasi we are going to talk about career pathways. I'm going to share my screen. Thank you so much for sharing, kasi masaya ako na to share this information. I feel so excited to share this information kasi I have met a lot of clients, and I work with a lot of newcomers to Canada. And most of the time they come to me and they ask a question, Jane, I don't have Canadian experience, or currently I have working visa. I used to be an engineer back home. Now I want to be an engineer in Canada. What are the steps that I need to do? What are the things that I need to have in order to become this in Canada? So there are different ways and approaches, right? Kasi naman po ang career natin is not always a straight path. It's not linear. There are different kinds of career mobility. Sometimes it's circular, sometimes it's linear. Sometimes it goes from one place to the other. But then one thing that we have, what we call, is a vision for ourselves. How do we envision ourselves, right? Okay. Someone wrote to me, to understand how to become certified to work as a skilled professional in Canada and also skills upgrading. Yes, we will talk about these things too. So let me share my screen with you, and let's get started. Okay. So we have ang title ng ating or ang topic natin ngayon is career pathways, and something that let me go. It's not moving. Whoops. Okay, so I'd like to just a little disclaimer, and for those maybe some people will be watching, I'd like you to know that I got all these resources from different resources. One of them is the Career Development of Manitoba. They do have a whole package of career development presentation. The World Economic Forum is also some of the one of the resources where I got the information that I have tonight. I also got some information from Queen's University, especially the Career Wheel, and also the Conference Board of Canada is also one of the resources where I got the employability skills 2000, and also we have transferable skills second edition by John Liptak. These are some of the resources, and there are other resources that I use as in terms of the resources that you will have from here, and just in case you will be asking where I got these resources. Okay, so life is a gift, and it offers us the privilege, opportunity, and responsibility to give something back by becoming more. And true, and I think I shared this in 2019. Really, life is a gift, and it's a summation of everything that's happening in our lives. Whether we're experiencing changes, transition in our lives, it's to me, I feel that it is really a gift because it offers and my favorite word is opportunity, challenges, and opportunity, and then perspective, right? We go through different challenges, but then what kind of opportunities do we have in front of us to make the challenges become more our friend, right? What opportunities do we have? Okay, so career planning, if you are a first-time job seeker, or you're currently working and you want to transition to another career, or a new graduate, or you're looking for a career change, or you're looking for a career advancement, or if you're interested in learning more about yourself, or if you're a newcomer to Canada, career planning is also for you, right? Whether you are wherever you are at your life right now, stage of your life right now, we have what we call career planning, and this is very helpful moving forward to where we want to be in the future. We call it our preferred self, right? So ang pag-usapan natin is career planning pathways and transferable skills. So I'm just going to move on with the slide. Evaluating, we are going to talk about how we evaluate ourselves. So evaluating ourselves, and then exploring transferable skills, and then exploring information as to where to go, understanding our transferable skills, right? So career development is a lifelong process of managing learning, work, leisure, and transitions in order to move toward a personally determined and evolving preferred future. So kanina I mentioned we want to look at where we want to be 5 years from now. So for example, Gemma mentioned, well, I have a PhD in education, and I see myself 5 years from now working within the education industry or in the educational system within Canada. What are the steps that I need to have? Who am I in regards to my PhD, right? So these are some of the questions that we ask ourselves. So career planning is an active and ongoing process. It's more than just a job or a series of jobs, and it is responsive to other life roles. So for example, right now, recently I had a meeting and we were talking about group mentoring program, and we offer group mentoring. So if you want to join the group mentoring, you're welcome to join the program. Sabi namin sa aming group, those mga coordinators, we thought that it would be a good idea to create another group mentoring program where it's called executive mentoring. And when we say executive mentoring program, is because there are already those who already are in a job but then would like to transition to other fields, and either they want to be managers, they want to change career totally. So that would be a good place for them to start the mentoring program. And I said to myself, well, to me, I also like I see myself in a different place. I see myself maybe having my own business, my own coaching business, my own career coaching business someday. Or I want to start my own, how do you say, business in terms of career counseling. And I needed that. I needed a career planning for myself as well. So it doesn't mean that I'm already in this career and I'm gonna stay, right? In the Philippines, from my understanding, meron tayong tinatawag na yung career natin kung saan ka, kung if you're a teacher, you are a teacher. I mean, some of us, not all, would be a teacher for 20 years, right? So in Canada, for those who are in Canada, we find that there is an opportunity to transition from one career to another. And it is said by career practitioners and also theories that a person changes 3 times, right? Tatlong beses, almost at least 3 times in his lifetime, changes career 3 times at least in his lifetime. So think of yourself right now. Isipin natin right now, where am I? Kung when I was 20 years old, where did you want to be? Or go back when you were in elementary school. Minsan tinatanong nila, oh, anong gusto mong maging paglaki mo sa paglaki mo, right? Sasabihin nila, gusto kong maging doctor, yung mga bata, they gusto kong maging nurse. Then they grow up and they'll go to teenager and then suddenly nag-change. Some of them, they already have their thoughts. Gusto ko doktor, talagang from being a doctor straight. But some, they change, right? For me, I could see that I have changed from one job to another, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I changed my career, right? I'm still doing facilitation. So for some people, they want to change careers. For example, if you're familiar with Condoleezza Rice, right? Yung Secretary of State yata ni Bush, right? She used to be a musician, like she took a master's in music. Pero later, she realized that she has a love for ang tawag nito, she's a specialist in Soviet affairs. So she has a love for this kind of information. And so she pursued that. So it doesn't mean that she studied music, tinapos siya hanggang masters, naging musician siya. No, she went on into politics, right? And it's the same way with somebody who, not, I don't know personally this person, doktor siya. Tapos, ginawa niya, dahil gustong-gusto niya gusto niya how do you say it? Gusto niya maging musician. He left his profession as a doctor, naging musician siya. Right? So these are things that there are different factors that affect these decisions in our lives, right? So, and that's the reason why we need career planning. We go through different transitions, right? In our lives. And it is responsive to other life roles. Right? If you're a mom, if you're a child, as a daughter, you're in high school, you're in elementary and college, you came to Canada, you're a newcomer, we have different life roles, right? So we need career planning. So managing your career is not a one-time decision, but a series of decisions made over your lifetime, right? A basic question is, what made you come to Canada? What was the main reason why you came to Canada? Is it because of work, or is it because you want a better life? Is it, different kinds of answers, right? These are things that we, in our lifetime, we ask ourselves question. We question our roles in our lives. Like for me, I am a mom, I'm a facilitator, I teach, I have kids and so on. But then I ask myself, Jane, what motivates you in the morning in terms of looking at your career? Right? Why do I have to keep doing this? Right? So itong mga tanong na to ang keeps us going, and it will help us. So in terms of in terms of importance of career planning, this will help you enter the workforce. This will help you plan for education. This will deal with changing workplace demands, right? Anticipate trends or changes, plan to upgrade or maintain your skills, and plan for career advancement. Let me just move on. So the first, if you would look at the stages of career planning, we have the first one is evaluating yourself or myself, learning about myself, right? And exploration, learning about other opportunities, and then making decisions, deciding on your future path, and then setting goals, and then implementing your plan. So the first two things, dalawa yung pag-uusapan natin. Hopefully at the end of this session tonight, you will come up with a plan for yourself, a career plan for yourself. And I will focus more on evaluating yourself and your transferable skills. The next, we would probably decision making, setting goals, to probably do that in the second half of the workshop. I mean, the next part 2, right? But this would be the first things that we would be talking about right now. So if you would look at this one, is from Queen's University. If you look at this one, this is a career wheel, and you would see there you have on the orange left side, it says know yourself, who am I? And then on the right side, you have investigate your options. Where do I want to go? Or yes, where do I want to be? How do I get there? Right? And then on the left, on the yellow one, the yellow side, you have how do I show fit? Or how can I add value, right? Or how can I communicate the value that I have, right? So ito yung mga bagay-bagay na different stages. So the 3 questions actually for me, it's who am I, what's out there for me, and how do I get there? And the first thing that we will be discussing tonight would be knowing yourself. Who am I? Did you ever ask yourself that question? Who am I? So if I were to ask the question, who am I? Let's stop here for a while and think. Ask yourself this question, who am I? Now, I want you to think of one skill, just one skill. Isa lang. Okay, so now I would like you to share, kahit sa chat, what is that skill? What's that favorite skill maybe, that, or the first skill that comes to mind? Can anyone share sa chat? I'm looking for my chat kung nasaan. You could talk if you like. You could speak if you like. Does anyone to share? What skill? Do you have a skill to share? Isa lang. Wala? Okay, for example, a skill that I can think of sa akin is facilitation. So facilitation is a skill, right? Or it's almost similar to public speaking, right? Do you have that skill? Do you have a skill? Not do you have that skill? Do you have a skill that you could share? If you were to share with me a skill. An example of a skill also is communication skill, right? Anyone? Meron bang gustong mag-share? Wala? Okay. So let's clarify and let's look at this first. So the first thing actually, then I've said, ang una nating tatalakayin, pag-usapan is knowing thyself. And sometimes you ask yourself, who am I at this point? Right? Who am I? Who am I in terms of, you want to ask yourself, who am I in terms of, the first thing is your skills, values, and interests. Right? This is the first thing that I would ask. Who am I in terms of my skills, my values, and my interests? Who am I in terms of my meaning and purpose? Who am I in terms of relationships and influences, my identity, my thoughts and feeling? But I think the first thing that you need to think about is, who am I in terms of my skills, my values, and my interests? I'm gonna talk about this further. So here's an example of where to get started, right? Where do you want to be? You want to plot your future when you're planning, right? So the first thing you want to do is to evaluate yourself. Andito pa tayo. So Gemma mentioned earlier, Jane, how can I get to becoming a teacher? Maybe, I don't know. I didn't ask if you want to be a teacher. How can I use my PhD? That was the main question, right? So you want to evaluate yourself, and then you want to go to this portion, number 5, to put your plan into action. But you want to ask yourself, what is your preferred future? The first thing you need to ask is, who am I at this point, and what is my preferred future? Where do I see myself 5 years from now? Where do I see myself 2 years from now? Where do I see myself 3 years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, 10 years from now? That's the first thing you need to ask yourself. And, right, after that, you move on to different steps. So let's talk about, here's about recognizing your skills. So in order for you to identify and evaluate your skills, these are some of the steps. You want to plan with confidence and intention, right? Plan with confidence and intention. So when I say plan with confidence and intention, look at yourself right now. Don't think about other people at this moment. I know nagiging makasarili ako at this point, but then it's not that, right? It's not being makasarili. At this point, you want to identify who you are and be confident with what you have right now. Right? Because I heard earlier, well, instead of being a caregiver at this point, sometimes and I can relate. When I first came to Canada, my confidence level was so low, and my self-esteem also was very low. Parang, I could speak English very well, pero when I came, para akong hindi makapagsalita ng English. Because maybe, and I thought I prepared myself because the whole family moved here in 2005, right? And I thought I prepared myself for that. But then I didn't realize I didn't, because at that time, kasi I was shocked I didn't know where I want to be at that time. Parang nahirapan ako. Kasi there's what we call disidentification and disorientation sa managing change and transitions, right? So what I did was, nung dumating ako, sabi ko, oh, I used to be a school director, I used to be a school president, I used to teach university students. Pero ngayon, I go to my kids' school, I can't even call myself a principal, right? I go to a store, I can't even buy, gusto kong bumili sa McDonald's. Hindi ako maka-order. Nahihirapan ako kasi marunong naman ako mag-English. But my confidence was so low that I didn't really know how to express myself. And you wonder, how did I get here, right? And one thing for sure, it's about having that confidence. So do it with intention. So the next thing that we need to do is to identify your experiences, your knowledge, and skills. And this is where I want to focus later. Identify your knowledge, skills, and your experiences. And then we look at your transferable skills. The next thing that we need to do is to document, and then write about your learnings, and then we'll move on to how to do we get there. So we will look at this one by one. Questions that I'd like to ask you right now is, what motivates you? If you wanna look into your experiences and careers and your passion, what motivates you? What excites you? What gives you the greatest joy? So for example, you're working right now in a certain, who would like to share what work are you doing right now? Is there anyone who would like to share kung what kind of work you're doing? May I, probably I'll call, siguro si Ramelin. Ramelin, what are you doing right now? What kind of work are you doing right now?
Caregiver.
Okay, so what excites you as a caregiver?
Actually, hindi naman talaga siya kasi hindi naman siya, kasi siya adults.
Adults, yes.
Yeah. So, hindi naman siya mahirap.
Hindi siya
okay
mahirap.
lang.
So, ano ang nagbibigay ng joy? Ano yung nagbibigay ng saya sa'yo?
Ano lang siya, masayahin kasi siya, tsaka madali siyang alagaan. Ganun lang siya.
So, since madali siyang alagaan, so you are also okay with it, like masaya ka rin.
Sure, of course. Yeah.
Now, next question is, did you want to do anything else aside from being a caregiver?
Yes, I want, of course.
Okay, what would that be?
Pero sa ano ko kasi, ayun, gusto ko sanang magtrabaho din sa labas.
Ano yung trabaho sa
Pagkatapos-
labas?
Pagkatapos dito, pero ayaw nila ako bitawan, gawa nga na, syempre.
So,
Baka dito na rin lang ako. Pero okay na rin, masaya ako sa feeling nila kasi hindi nila ako tinarato na pamilya ang tanong nila sa akin.
Kung may pagkakataon ka, Ramilin, na magtrabaho sa labas, sabi mo, let's say sabihin natin na binigyan ka ng pagkakataon, anong gagawin? Ano yung gusto mong gawin?
Gusto ko rin maka-experience ng ibang trabaho.
Ano yung trabaho na yon?
Hindi ko lang masabi sa ngayon kasi syempre, yung ano ko kasi, yung education ko, hindi naman talaga kuan. So, hindi ko alam kung magagamit ko rito o hindi. So, maybe sa mga kumpanya o sa mga pabrika, ganyan lang. Gusto ko rin ma-experience yung ibang trabaho.
So, thank you so much, Ramilin, sa pag-share. Napaka insightful. So, ito yung sinasabi ko sa atin, right? Yung mga tinatanong ko, Ramilin, tanungin nyo rin sa sarili nyo. Ask yourselves too. If I want to work outside caregiver, for example, or where I am right now, what job would that be? Ano yung gusto kong gawin?
Yun nga, hindi mo pa masagot sa ngayon kasi.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? Pero
Yeah.
ano yung pwede mong, so sa mga lahat, di lang kay Ramilin, like sa lahat, ano yung pinakagusto nyong gawin? At pagka na lumalabas kayo sa kalsada, well, ngayon di ka makalabas. So pag pumupunta ka sa opisina sa RBC, halimbawa sa bank, did you ever ask yourself, paano kayo mag-work dito? Did you ever ask yourself that question?
Yeah, sometimes you can ask yourself.
That's correct, right?
Yeah.
Paano kaya? Ano kaya? Right?
Sometimes you're asking to somebody there and then also you said, how you do the work here? Or paano kayo nakapag-umpisa rito? Ganun.
That's good.
Paano
We
patakaran
call that,
dito?
that's a very good thing.
Kailangan mo magtanong-tanong para sa susunod. Mayroon kang idea.
Exactly. So that's one of the things, right? So yung mga ito, we call them informational interview. But I'm not gonna talk about this thing for now. Pero these are the things that you need to ask yourselves. Like, kung gusto kong maging ganito, ano kayang pwede kong gawin? Sometimes hindi natin alam kasi we don't know who we are at this point, right? So yeah, we don't know who we are at this point. So where am I in my career right now? Where do I see myself 2 years from now? So for us is we have to identify our experiences, our knowledge and skills to provide a better picture of ourselves, of yourself, right? You want to document yung experiences mo. You want to document your experiences in your community, at work, in your educational and training. So everywhere you want to document yourself, right? Titingnan mo kung anong bawat isa na gagawin mo. So, mabilis. So, know yourself, know thyself. What is self-assessment? We call it self-assessment. An assessment helps you learn about yourself, like evaluate yourself. Why should you assess yourself? Because it allows you to spend time thinking about yourself and to make plans. Yung makakapagplano ka, right? It is important to know which direction fits you before you look for a job. Lagi kong sinasabi sa clients, pupunta sila, sabi nila, Jane, gusto ko magtrabaho. Kailangan ko ng resume. Sabi ko, nahirapan akong gumawa ng resume. Nahirapan tayong gumawa ng resume kung hindi mo alam kung anong gusto mong gawin.
You're right.
Di ka makagawa ng resume kung hindi mo alam kung kanino mo ibibigay yung resume, right? So we need to know where we want to be in order for us to create a resume. Yun ang lagi kong sinasabi sa kanila. So 3 things, sabi ko, what's out there for me and how do I get there? So this is the thing where I want you to focus on right now. I want you to identify your skills, your values, and interests. That's the first thing. Yun lang. Hayaan niyo na muna yung meaning, purpose, relationship. Ito na lang muna. Ito na lang muna. Skills, values, and interests. Right? I'm gonna show you a wheel right now. I'm gonna show you a wheel. Dito sa wheel na to, meron tayong skills, interests, values, and personal style. You ask yourself, who am I in terms of my skills, my values, interests, and personal style? The bottom of half of the wheel is made up of personal characteristics. The top of the wheel, right, is made up of external factors, opportunities, and experiences. So now, what are the different kinds of skills? What are the different kinds of skills? So there's what we call hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills and soft skills. So hard skills would include your experience, your technical skills, include nyo na rin dyan yung education ninyo, yung training ninyo, your specializations. These are all called hard skills. So they're more tangible, right? So for example, I have a degree in education. That's a hard skill. I can facilitate and plan workshops. That is a hard skill. I can operate computer. I can use MS Office. This is a hard skill. I want you to write that down. Write everything down. Kung ano yung mga hard skills nyo. Right now, do it. Like, I'll give you 2 minutes to think about your hard skills. Or maybe 1 minute. Okay. Now I want you to think of your soft skills at this moment. What are your soft skills? So soft skills talks about yung personality, yung how do we perform the tasks, right? Yung for example, interpersonal skills is a soft skill, analytical skill is a soft skill. Another one would be organizing skills, a soft skill. Like think of it. And then tanong nyo sa sarili nyo right now is, where am I using all of these skills? So I'll give you an example. If I am working as a caregiver right now, one of the skills, my hard skills would be the ability to plan for a meal, nutritious meal, right? I can use computers, I can use Word, PowerPoint to create reports. Documentation, I write down whatever, whether you're working with an adult or when you were working with in a healthcare setting, what are the things that you do there in terms of your hard skills? Tapos, the other one too is think about your soft skills. Ano yung kailangan na soft skill as a caregiver? Napakarami, right? Empathy is number 1. Number 2, the ability to communicate well with the person you're helping right now, or the ability to communicate well with your employers, right? That's a soft skill. Now go back further. Previously, before being a caregiver, what did you previously do? I was an accountant. I was a teacher. I was a manager. Sulat nyo lahat yung mga ginawa ninyo. What do you think? You get any ideas at this point? Any thoughts? Ellen. I'm gonna call everyone, right? Okay, not everyone, but some of you. Ellen, did you have any thoughts? Just
Any
share
thoughts
one.
about soft skills for me?
Yes. How do
Soft
you use
skills
it?
for me is, I think, more on communication and adaptability.
Where are you
As-
using these skills?
I'm using as now as a caregiver, in-home care elderly. And when I was also working as, I was work before in the pharmacy.
Okay.
So I'm using these skills for communicating with other person, and also some decision making.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
And
good.
yes, and even in the sales management also, I'm using these soft skills. For the hard For the hard skill, I think more on administrative
Okay.
and sometimes bookkeeping.
Ah, nice. What's your background?
Budgeting is just only because when I'm a caregiver.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's
what's your background? Did you finish do you have any degree in accounting or
yeah, no, I
Ah.
graduated as a hotel and restaurant management,
Ah,
but mostly my experience is mostly communications, no?
Mm.
So instead of in the food industry and different what you call that? I work in the pharmacy, I work in the
oops, we lost her. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ellen, for sharing. Am I still on? Oops. Am I still on?
You're still on.
Okay. Okay. Thanks so much, Ellen, for sharing. I'm sorry I got cut off. So yeah, so you're now looking at yourself this time, right? So how is my next question is how do you feel right now, thinking that you have all of these skills? Now think of it. This is your place of work and your previous place of work. Now think about Canada right now. What are some of the jobs that where you can work? Think of these skills, right? And then you want to put some you want to identify these skills and transfer them, and we'll talk about this as we go on. The next thing is, oh, where did it go? Sorry, it went there. So what are your interests? What are your interests? Pag sinabing interest, talks about what are you interested in doing? Do you have any hobbies? Do you have any if you want to get into specialization, where do you see yourself moving towards pagdating sa interest, right? Do you like traveling? Right? Kasi nakakatulong din ito, especially when you're looking for a job or especially when you go for additional education, or if you want to look for another career, it goes towards what your interests are, what motivates you, right? On a certain day. So for example, for me, I really am very much interested in the arts. I like painting, I like photography. So kung minsan yung PowerPoint slides ko, because I'm very creative that way, I put some different things in my PowerPoint. So yun nakaka-affect sa trabaho ko din yun. Right? So that's an example of an interest. The other thing too is values. What are your values? So when I say what are your values, what is important to you? What is important to you? So when I say what is important to you, say for example right now, gusto kong maging, let's say I want to work in the pharmaceutical industry, and I want to work in a certain let's say I want to work with pharma, let's say it's a company, right? And it's located in, let's say, Ottawa. Right now you have your family with you. Your family is with you right now, and your job is in Ottawa. Will you take that job, or do you value your family? Like, how much, you know what I'm saying? So are you willing to move your family to Ottawa with you, or are you willing to move by yourself? So what do you value, right? So that's yun ang tinatawag nating values. Or are you willing to work overtime, overnight? So sometimes there are jobs na kailangan magtrabaho ka ng 3 nights, 2 nights na panggabi, 2 nights, 3 nights na panggabi, shifting. Okay ka lang ba? Right? Do you value your time? Those kinds of stuff when we ask about our skills, interests, and values. What is your personal style? Minsan iniisip natin, minsan nagkakaroon ng gap sa communication because we have different preferences in communication, right? So sometimes our personal style. Kung minsan gusto ko na, minsan, okay, sa husband and wife, magkaibang husband and wife, right? So for example, sa aming mag-asawa, pag nagluluto siya sa kusina, nilalagay niya lahat ng mga kaldero sa example lang to sa sa kitchen and so on. So ako naman, gusto ko hinuhugasan lahat ng mga kaldero para hindi magulo tingnan. We do have different preferences of doing things, right? So it's the same way sa workplace. You have different preferences, different personal styles sa paggawa or sa pagtrabaho. So this also comes into consideration when you are considering to look for a job, right? Or if you're working with other people, right? Nagkakaroon din ng epekto yan sa relationship, sa workplace, right? So you want to look into these things too. So I'm going to share with you a story. Here's an example. Sarah is age 30. She spent the last 10 years as a mother and homemaker. So she has a grade 12. She has a grade 12 education and has limited paid work experience. Now Sarah's children are in school full time. She's looking to re-enter the workforce. Sarah is pretty sure that she wants to look for to work in a retail store, building on her previous retail work experiences. So gusto na niyang mag-work. Ano ngayon ang next step sa kanya, right? Ang next step is, this is what Sarah's completed work wheel looks like. Though through these activities, Sarah confirmed her interest in working in retail fashion. She also learned that her skills and interest in working in customer service are suitable for work in a bank. So here's an example of her wheel, right? So her skills are customer service, organization, leadership, and interpersonal skills. Her interests are in fashion, skiing, working on a team, community service. At saka yung kanyang values are working with family, with others, the right of work responsibility, focused on results, family-oriented, and organized and committed. So yung kanyang gustong maging trabaho is retail and banking in the fashion, retail within the fashion industry or in the clothing industry, because she's interested. So now these are the things that she did in order for her to identify kung saan siya pupunta, right? So to answer yung question kanina ni Gemma, Jane, I have a PhD in education. You have to do your research as to what's out there for you. And this is what Sarah did. She did a research as to what's out there for her in terms of her skills, values, and interests, and her education is also taken into consideration. So if I have a master's or a PhD, where do I want to work? So you want to work in, do you want to work in elementary, high school, or in the college? Do you want to teach? You have to remember that there are different kinds of teaching. There's facilitation, teaching in college, and teaching in the university. And then there's adult education, which is part of facilitation. Or do you want to work with Toronto District School Board or the District School Board as a coordinator? See, so you want to identify different jobs within the education. And you will see that even if, and I'd like to answer this to all of you, for all of you, in order for you na hindi kayo nag-iisip kung qualified ba yung education ko dito sa Canada, well, you were able to come to Canada and they used your education to come to Canada. You can come to Canada without any at least college or university level, right? So go and have your documents assessed with WES, World Education Service, or any international credential assessment that's recognized in Canada. And then you will see that if your documents are assessed, okay, documents are assessed as equivalent to Canadian system or recognized by the Canadian educational system, that's enough. That's enough as a proof, right? And the next thing is, think about your experience. You might say, well, I don't have an experience in Canada. Look at the experience that you have right now. You're working in Canada. You're working as a career or a caregiver right now, for example. You have customer service skills, right? So if you want to go and transition in the bank, your skills in communication, just like what Ellen said earlier, could be used and transferred to the bank as a customer service. I'm saying this directly because I might be able to I might forget it later. So that's what you need to do in terms of looking into your career's values and interests. Right? How does that sound? Are you gaining clarity now? Meron na ba kayong clarity? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Nell. So these are the things that we need to remember. Now, at the top of the wheel, meron tayong career opportunities. This is when I say explore your career opportunities, right? So for Sarah, what she saw was new bank branch, in-house CSR training, retail clothes sales. And then yung work and life experiences niya, think about your volunteer experience too. Lagi kong sinasabi, kung wala kayong experience in a certain area in Canada, you will have an opportunity to volunteer. Your volunteer work experience can be part of your work experience. In Canada, it's called paid and unpaid job. So PUP, paid and unpaid job, would pass as a work experience. So if they ask you, tell me about your experiences, they're not asking about your experience in the Philippines or Canadian experience. They're asking about what are your experiences in this particular area in customer service. Tell me, right? I actually work with, I did a workshop on job search on the internet, and we were talking about a resume. And this lady, she's one of the clients who attended the workshop. She did not work for around 15 years. Sabi ko, bakit hindi ka nag-work with 15 years? Sabi niya, I took care of my kids. Similar with Sarah. I took care of my kids for 15 years. Now I'm ready to go back to work. Sabi niya, it's so hard for me to get back to work. So sabi ko, ano yung number one? Ano yung dati mong ginawa? Ano yung pinag-aralan mo? Ano yung mga ginagawa mo? What were you doing when you were with your kids? Don't tell me na you just brought your kids to school and back to the house. What else? And sabi niya, oh, Jane, I have done a lot of things. I've done this, this, this. Well, I said, you can use this as your own personal experience. For example, you were a coach in sa mga bata. Isn't that a leadership skill? Right? You were coordinating fundraising. Isn't that a skill? So think about all of these things that you're doing and do not disregard them because they're all part of your whole package. And that was what's missing sa akin when I came to Canada. I really didn't know what to package myself. So when I sat down in front of a facilitator, she was teaching job searching, I said to myself, paano kaya maging facilitator na kagaya sa kanya? Ano kaya ang ginawa niya? Tapos later, when I spoke to an employment counselor, sabi ko sa isip ko, you know what she did to me? Sabi niya, well, itong mga experiences mo na to, wala lahat. Ako, sakit sa puso. Natanggal lahat ng experience ko sa pagtuturo, sa lahat. Ano kayong gagawin ko ngayon? Sabi kong ganon. Sakit. Pero, I realized that I needed to identify what I'm good at, what were my skills. Sabi kong ganon sa isip ko, what are you doing? Yung sabi ko sa kanya, I want to become like you. Hindi ko sinabi sa kanya, sabi ko, I want to become that facilitator at saka itong nakikipag-usap sa akin. After 3 years, in 2008, I took career and work counselor program because na-realize ko na to become an employment counselor, I needed to update my skills. To some of you, you don't have to. All you need to do is to register with one subject lang. Right? For example, if you have a PhD, already have you don't need to have additional education. All you need to do is to go and volunteer and look for information, explore. And if you want to become a teacher in university, elementary, you have to go to OCT, Ontario College of Teachers. If you want to teach in the preschool, and this is for everyone, if you want to teach in the preschool, you don't need a certificate to teach in the preschool as a preschool assistant. So as a caregiver, you're looking after kids right now and you become a preschool assistant, you don't need to have a certificate once you get your PR and everything. And there's adult education, Yorkdale adult education, right? You can go and just take these little courses and there's very minimal. No need to spend $10,000 to go back to school. Unless it's it's where you will need to get a skill that is very important in that field. In this case, for example, for me, I had to go back to school for career and employment counseling because of the skill sets and the certification needed for the job. And that's why I went back to school. Otherwise, I would have been just an ESL teacher or a facilitator. right? Okay. Any questions? What time do we have? Oh, 7:05. Do you want to, so this is these are the things that I want to show in terms of who am I, hard skills, what is important to you, and you list your soft skills. You can use this. I want to show you a whiteboard of something that I did before we go on a break. Okay, let me just do the display setting first. Show taskbar. This is something that I created. Oh, where did it go? Oopsie. Let me just shift the new share. For some of you who are visual, this is something that you can also do. Oh, thanks so Gemma. That's great. Okay, this is something that, can you see my screen? Oh, why is it my, can you see my screen?
Yeah, show
Yeah.
whiteboard
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Now
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
There
okay.
you go.
Sorry, kasi naglalag ang internet eh. Okay, so this is a whiteboard that I did for myself. And I kind of, I like to draw maps for myself, right? So these are some of the questions that you can ask and then add all your skills. For example, ayaw nang gumana. Not sure why it's not working, but anyway. So for example, what are my skills? I type for example, facilitation as my skill, right? Low system may affect audio quality. So my system is running a bit low. So for example, I would say, what are some of the skills that I have right now? So I have planning a workshop, for example. That's a skill that I have. Or I have document use. I have PowerPoint, right? So these are things that you want to write to help you identify. See? And then you want to identify yung gaps ninyo. If I want to become yung vision for myself, let's say for example, in the future, I want to become a facilitator in Canada. And I want to become a facilitator for adults. And I want to become a facilitator for diversity and or cultural communications facilitator. This is my plan in the future, for example, right? This is what I want to be. What are my gaps then? If I have some gaps, okay, I already have my education, I have this, but some of the gaps that I have would be, for example, diversity or cultural communications. Maybe what will I do? I talk about my next steps. What will I do to bridge this gap? Right? I will get there later. So I want to finish with the transferable skills and go here. So this is why I say plot something for yourself. You're a visual person, might like me. This is my preferred future, for example. Or if I want to become a manager, what do I want to be? These are the steps in between here, right? These are the gaps. This will be your gap. And how do you manage the gap? Okay, let me just go back to the new share. Go back to my window. Okay, so that is in terms of whiteboard. Do you have any questions so far? Are we clear? Tahimik kayo. Ay, bakit tahimik? Pala hindi tahimik kayo.
Nagko-concentrate.
Concentrate. May tanong ba? Magtanong naman kayo.
Naka-mute kasi po.
Naka-mute, oo. Magtanong naman kayo kung meron kayong katanungan, di ba? Kung wala kayong katanungan, diretso ko na sa step 3. So once you identify yung skills ninyo, yung once nagtapos niyo yung evaluation, once you evaluate yourself, right? You've done that evaluation of yourself. You want to identify your transferable skills. So skills can be transferred from one occupation to another. Skills can be developed throughout person's life, and developed through formal and informal learning. So these are all the things that you need. I want to show something. So this is an example of a job posting or a job, right? So it is ABC Company, Grocery Mart. Ito yung trabaho cashier, full-time. So length of employment, 3 years. So this is from someone's experience. So ito yung kanyang responsibilities. Scan, problem solve when cash register is malfunctioning, process of all kinds of payment, manage an account fix, and so on and so forth. These are all the responsibilities. This person, what this person did was to identify yung skills na napag-aralan niya. Working in a digital cash register, troubleshooting problems with a digital cash register, balance cash register at the end of shift. And also conflict resolution for customer service, estimate stock requirements based on store, communicate and resolve issues in a team. So these were all the skills learned, right? So think about yourself right now. This is my job right now, or my previous job, and what I've done before. What were my responsibilities? What were the skills that I've learned while I was doing this job? Okay, list them down, right? So ito yung kanyang skills that I've learned, sabi niya. Observed others' work, asked questions, I read instructions or manuals. This is what I've done. I practiced, learned at school, showing coworkers what to do, learned in previous job, asked people outside my job, took notes during instruction, trial and error, trained by coworker, trained by supervisor. Keep a stock of what you've done so far, right? Now let me move on to the next slide. So we also tend to forget, sabi niya dito, an important place where we learn a great deal, at home. Use the space below. So this is something that I like you to look at. Examples of activities: driving, daycare, childcare, sewing, arranging parties, scheduling, and other stuff. Home repair, cleaning, projects, elder care, giving advice, listening, budgeting, cooking, pet sitting, counseling, conflict resolution. Ang mga nanay, magaling sa conflict resolution yan. At negotiation. Diba?
Agree.
Yeah. So these are skills na sometimes nakakalimutan natin, meron tayo. Think of experiences and how you solve the problem. Right? Ang nanay magaling din sa counseling kasi especially pag may mga anak. Right? So you speak to your kids, you talk to your kids. These are all at home. So what are the skills and knowledge that you've learned? Right? Next, you want to document what you can do. Right? So you want to gather all your evidences, degrees, certificates, thank you letters, letters of reference, awards, samples of work, examples of technology, transcripts, pictures, videos. This is actually your portfolio. Sabihin mo, Ma'am, paano yan? Wala naman akong ganito. Wala naman. Think carefully. Think carefully. Sa pagluluto na nga lang hindi ako magaling magluto. Pero some people are very good in cooking. They can just create meal like this. Right? That's a skill. Yung malalasahan mo kung anong inihahalo sa pagkain, that's a skill. Not all have that skill. Right? Think about these things. I work with mostly with architects, and when they come to me and they show me the resume, sabi ko, this is a good thing, but I want to see your portfolio. What have you done so far? Now you might say to me, but Jane, I'm not an architect. I don't have any pictures to show, right? I haven't done anything. Think carefully what you've been doing in a day. Take a picture of steps that you've done or document things that you've done, and surely you will get something out of it. Okay. This is another example, a transferable skills use exercise. So we're talking about transferable skills. So what are transferable skills? Skills that you can use from one job or occupation to another. They're usually, most of the time, there are soft skills. Some are hard skills, right? So for example, the use of computer as an admin assistant, you can use it also in sales, right? These are all transferable skills. So what you need to do is to identify what were your skills when you were in school, what were your major accomplishments or achievements. You want to write down your specific task and how you demonstrated the task. On the job, for example, what were your achievements? You would say, ano ba naman, Jane, it's regular. I do it all the time. My question is, if you were not the one doing it, sinong gagawa? Or sinong makakagawa? Would someone else do better than what you are doing right now? Right? Think. So what are the specific tasks? So when we talk about accomplishments, think of your day-to-day activities and think of it as an accomplishment. For example, if you are working in a bank, for example, everyday laman kausap ko ang customers. Yeah, but then how many some customers will come with their baggages with them, right? Some clients. What did you do? What did you do successfully with that client? Maybe the client is frustrated, right? And what did you do to help that client ease the frustration? That's an accomplishment. Or maybe you're working with your, yun nga sabi ni Ellen kanina, like yung kanyang inaalagaan, sometimes nag-frustrate din sila. Anong ginagawa mo? How were you successful? Right? Look at your day activity. What were you successful about? That's why it says how are all these skills demonstrated, right? At home and leisure activities. Leisure, number 1. For example, I love photography. So I took pictures and I printed them. So because I like the arts and I like to put them in yung, I like to manipulate yung tinatawag nating mixed media. What I did was I learned sa YouTube how to print. I registered, I went back because I love photography. I went back to school to take a certificate in photography, and I also printed out my artwork, right? So my successes were I was able to create some artwork for myself, which now I display in my living room, right? I learned Photoshop because of this one on my own, right? So the skills demonstrated there was the ability to learn new technology, the ability to create, the ability to organize my stuff, right? So, and ability to use technology. So these are the things that I did even in my leisure activities. How is everyone doing? Okay pa ba kayo? Pagod?
Yes po. Yes po. Okay po. We're on.
Yeah, any thoughts so far?
We're okay.
Yeah, do you have any questions?
No.
No?
Yeah, we're good.
You're good? Okay. So let me ask you a question. Let's do this so that Mary Ann Pineda, right? Mary Ann, can you tell me, do you have any hobbies or interests at this point?
Hello po.
Yes. Mary Ann, do you want to share if you have any hobbies or anything that's interesting, that you are interested in? Not interesting. May hobbies ka ba? Oh, nawala. Or anybody, Emma, did you want to share? walang mag-share?
Ano pong pwedeng i-share? Ano pong
Okay.
ano? Sige, try
Oh,
po.
Nell, is it Nelly? Nell.
Ellen. Yeah.
Ellen?
Yeah.
Oh, Ellen, nabaliktad. Okay.
Sabi
Ellen.
na. Okay.
Ellen, thank you so much. So, do you have any hobbies?
Cooking.
Cooking. Okay. So, what were your let's say, what are you proud of in terms of your cooking?
What do you mean proud of?
Or do you have any achievements in terms of your cooking?
Achievement?
Or
Nothing.
palitan
I just only...
Or palitan natin, ang question is, meron bang did somebody, ano ba yun sa English, bumati sa'yo na masarap yung luto
Yung
mo?
pinagmamalaki mo yung
Oo.
ginagawa mo.
Okay.
Oo.
Yeah, I know that is my skill.
That's your
As a
skill.
skill also.
Okay.
It's not only my hobbies, it's also my skills.
Wow. Ano yung mga tasks that were involved sa pagluluto mo?
Wala naman, basta nagluluto lang ako and then I know na alam ko kung paano mag-create and mag-experiment.
Okay.
And aside from the original recipe, I add something.
Oh, okay. So yung mga tasks na involved doon would be creating recipe, right?
Yeah.
Looking for ingredients na nakakatulong para
Alternatives.
alternatives, right? So these are some of the tasks, right? Identifying alternative ingredients. Another task is organizing yung mga iluluto mo, right? Now, what are the skills demonstrated when you're cooking? Aside from the general cooking skills?
I don't know.
Maybe budgeting? You want to know how much does a whole bunch of meal cost, right?
Before, but now it's just very specific. I'm
Mhm.
just only, I know how to cook, but because of that is also my course. Of course, I know how to, the costing, budgeting, and how to, everything about that cooking. That
Okay,
is
so that's
aside
your course.
from
It
that,
was your
yeah.
course. What was your
Yes.
program before? Ano yung course mo?
BS Hotel and Restaurant Management.
Oh, okay. Kasama ang pagluluto doon.
Yes, and kasama everything, all costing, for catering, and everything. So that's why I learned. But
Okay.
I never pursued that career. Maybe that's why when you are asking me about what my task or whatever, I'm just only simply cooking, and that's it.
See, so you want to identify, I'll give you a homework, right? I'll give you
Yeah,
homework when you
okay.
get home, after this workshop, what you need to do is to identify yung mga tasks na ginagawa mo at cooking, right? So another question, are you currently working right now?
As a caregiver.
Okay, so as a caregiver, how does your cooking help sa pagiging caregiver mo?
I'm cooking according to their diet.
According to their diet. Is there a specific diet that you need to follow?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm creating my own.
Okay.
According to her diet. It depends.
Okay. So what's the diet that you follow? Is there a certain diet for diabetes
Mostly
or something?
Different nowadays is because very elderly. So there is no issues about health condition. But I'm maintaining more on protein and
Healthy,
that
right?
all and fibers.
Okay,
A
protein and
healthy
fiber.
living, yes.
Right, so healthy living diet. So
Yes.
see this, do you now see where I'm going? It's more about thinking about the kind of tasks and skills that you have in terms of creating menu, right? That are also healthy, right? And sometimes we don't see that it's a skill, right?
Yeah.
So if you were given an opportunity to step out of caregiving in the future, what would you like to do?
That is also my question. Actually, because a caregiver is only my current position right now. But my My course is hotel and restaurant management, but mostly of my experience that I really want to pursue is more on customer service related.
Where?
Where, anywhere, as long as I'm communicating with other people, like talking mostly
So-
all of the time.
Let's put that into context. Where do you want to work in terms of customer service? Is it in the bank? Is it in the hotel? Or is it in a manufacturing company?
Mostly a retail.
Retail. Okay. Customer service in a retail. Do you see yourself working at Eaton Center?
Yes.
Okay. In what? Is it a clothing store or is it a
Mostly about health issues, about what you call that, like in Rexall or like in the pharmacy or skincare, because I know that I can, because of my experience, so I think I can explain more aside from that, because you are very eloquent person. But I just want to also, it's not only that because you know how to communicate with others, it's because I know the product itself.
Okay.
I think that it's the way I think.
So tell me again, have you worked in this industry before?
Yeah, I work in the pharmacy as
Pharmacy.
a cashier
As a cashier.
and also dispensing the medicine, and as well in the skincare.
Okay.
Yes, and
So you see
also in
now?
the restaurant.
Okay, so that's when do you see yourself doing this?
Sorry, there is no signal. Just wait.
Oh, so sorry.
Yeah.
When do you see yourself doing this?
Most of the time, and I can see my all the time. That's
No,
why even
when do you plan?
when do I plan? After my temporary work permit.
That is in how many years?
If God's will, after a year.
After a year. Okay. So I hope that you're getting something from the conversation that I'm having with Nelly, right? With Ellen, right?
Yeah.
So what am I saying here? I'm saying that if I see myself in a year as a customer service within the pharmacy, so what kind of things do I need to start developing? Right now I'm doing this is where I'm good at. I could see that I'm good at this. If I were to work at a retail store, I would probably work in an aesthetic or cosmetic store like Shoppers, right? Or Shoppers Drug Mart as a retail customer service provider. Do you see now where your skills are used?
Yes.
Right? So this time, what the next question that I would ask is, what will you do next to start preparing? Don't wait for tsaka na lang.
Sige.
Hindi pa ako tapos eh. So you want to start doing it right now. You want to start building and filling in the gaps para paglabas mo, you are already ready. Diba?
Yes, that's why that is my question also, because aside from your skills, I don't have a certificate on that. So how can I pursue as being a customer service?
Okay. So there are two ways.
Yeah.
One is meron tayong tinatawag na customer service training that are sometimes very minimal, that's offered by nonprofit organizations just to get started. Meron mga yon. May mga certificates in customer service, right? The other thing too is for everyone, list down what I'd like you to do a research as to what does a customer service representative do at a given day. What do? They talk to people, they negotiate, they organize stuff. So right now, what you're doing also is customer service. Ang iyong customer nga lang ngayon ay ang iyong boss at ang iyong mga inaalagaan. These are your clients at the moment. Think of it that way. We have what we call internal customer service and external customer service. At the moment, you are practicing customer service. You're just not aware. So I'll give you an example. At this point, when you speak to your employer, what do? You ask questions if you are not clear, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when you speak with a client or a customer, what do? You ask question. How can I help you? Right?
Yeah.
And then you communicate. Isn't that customer service?
Yes.
There you go.
It's also,
It's also a form of customer service.
yeah.
What I'm doing with you right now is also a form of customer service. Anything that I'm offering a service to help you understand something or guide you, that's customer service, right? So don't think that yung mga ginagawa nyo ngayon that is not customer service. That's actually client services. That's how you transfer your skills. Am I making sense?
Yes, yes.
Yeah?
But we need a certificate, or we can pass the resume for that position.
Exactly.
Oh,
You got the point. You can always pass a resume. You don't even need to have a certificate in customer service unless you want to. There are some places they offer free customer service training. That's okay. You can always take that, but you can always work even without the customer service. I'm telling you. Why? Okay, I'll give you an example. My daughter is when she was in high school, she was third year high school. She started working with Regent Park School of Music as an admin assistant. What do they do? A lot of customer service. Did she have any customer service certificate? No. She worked with McDonald's. Did she need to have customer service? No, because they train you on the job as well.
okay.
Think of what you're doing right now. Take advantage of what you're doing and take it as a learning experience. So wherever job right now you have right now, think of it as a learning experience. Go out and talk to people. Think of that as a learning experience. That is already building into your skills. And this applies to everyone. Right?
Okay. No, because we thought,
Mhm.
as a newcomer, we thought, okay, they said, that's why I want to ask, because some people, they said, if you want to work in the pharmacy, or if you want to work in whatever is the field, you need to get a certificate, and then you need to study first. Aside from your education, aside from your whatever is your field. For instance, you are a caregiver right now, but you don't want to pursue the caregiver. You want to be like a sonography or medical transcript. So they said you need to get a certificate.
Okay, so I need to interject in a few minutes in terms of that. So for example, sonography or medical receptionist. These are sonography is a medical in the medical field, right? Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So this is something that needs to, if you don't have education in sonography, then of course you cannot work in sonography because you don't have the technical skills. So of course, what do you need to do? You have to go back to school.
I see. Okay.
But if you already have certain skills, so for example, administrative assistant, you don't have experience probably, like, oh, I don't have, all you need to do is to take yung mga little courses lang. You don't have to go and take an administrative assistant for 2 years, 3 years, no. Right? But then if you have that experience, you can always work as an admin assistant. And the way to do it, I would suggest, start volunteering now. I mean, now COVID is in, like, merong COVID, right? But as soon as things are out, like, and there are free courses that you could also take online.
Ma'am Jane,
Yes.
how are we paano po kami magvo-volunteer?
That's a
Yeah.
good question.
Yeah.
So you can go to volunteer. There's a website where you could go, and most of the nonprofit organizations, not all, but most
Okay.
of the nonprofit organizations accept volunteers. So, for example, Kababayan Filipino Kababayan Kababayan Multicultural Center, for example, it's a
Yeah, multicultural.
right. So
Yeah.
they accept volunteers all the time.
Okay.
right? Yeah. Or
Maybe na ano na lang po kami sa comfort zone namin na nandito kami sa loob ng bahay, and that is one thing that na gusto ko talagang mangyari, to have connections to sa mga gaya po ninyo para matulungan kami kung ano yung dapat naming gawin.
and I like that idea. The
Yeah.
word connections.
Yes. Because importante po 'yun kasi kahit gaano anong gusto mo pong mangyari, if you don't have connections, like yung magtuturo sa'yo kung ano yung susunod, ano ba yung mga gagawin mo, like you said, accreditation o kaya kung ano pa man diyan. Yung mga taong experience na sa mga ganyan na gaya po ninyo, it would really help us.
Okay, so this is actually our next topic. I will talk about what is out there for me and how do I get there. I want to talk about this in our next topic,
okay.
right? But
Sige
I
po.
mean the next steps. So what's out there and how do I get there? That's the next question we want to identify. The reason why I
Okay.
focus only on evaluating yourself at this point, because I want
Yourself.
I want you to be confident of who you are at the moment. Don't think of yourself as somebody without any skills because you are in Canada, no.
Okay.
Or new to Canada. Go back and identify all the skills that you can do, right? And usually, meron tayong tinatawag na conscious competence and unconscious competence. Yung conscious competence is, yung bang we are conscious. For example, kay Ellen, she's good at cooking. She's conscious that she's good at cooking. But what she's unconscious about is she has the ability to speak. She already has customer service skills, but she's not conscious about it. Right? Meron tayong tinatawag na unconscious incompetence as unconscious at saka conscious incompetence. So for example, hindi ko alam to, you're conscious. But there's also other one na hindi mo alam. So knowing what you know and knowing what you do not know is very important. And it's very important to evaluate yourself at this point so that you know what value you can bring if you go out there. So for example, you're meeting with someone like me. Let's say, nag-usap tayo. You want to talk to me. The next question that I will ask you, for example, is, okay, so tell me something about yourself. Right? How can you add value to my organization? How can you add value to anything? So think about yourself. This is what I can do. I'll give you an example. My first time when I first approached Kababayan Center, that was 10 years ago. Tumawag ako. Sabi ko, I want to teach. Sabi ko, can I volunteer? Sabing ganun sa akin, magva-volunteer. Alam mo naman, magva-volunteer ka? Anong gusto mong, anong pwede mong i-offer? Napatanga ako. Sabi ko, ano kayang pwede? Hindi ko na tinuloy. Kasi po nagturo po ako ng English dati sa Pilipinas. Gusto ko po magturo dito. Okay, sige. Ay naku, natakot ako. Hindi ko lang. Hindi na ako bumalik. When I finally got a hold of myself and knew what I can offer, you know what? I called back. After 10 years. No, not 10 years. 7 years. Sabi ko, after 5, 6 years, tumawag ako, sabi ko, I was wondering if you accept volunteers. Sabing ganon sa akin, what can you do? Tanong sa akin, what can you do? And I said, well, these are the things that I can do. I can facilitate workshops. I can teach ESL because this is my background. I can do this. Then okay, come in for an interview. So they did an interview with me and then they asked all this. You know, at the end, sabi niya sa akin ni Ma'am Loida, bakit ngayon ka lang nagpunta? Sabi ko, actually nagpunta na ako dito 6 years ago. Ba't di ka nagtuloy? Kasi po hindi ako confident sa aking sarili at that time. Now I'm confident with that I can offer. Right? So identifying and evaluating yourself in terms of what you are and who you are in terms of skills, values, and interests, your education, what you have done so far, put them all together and look at them against the employability skills of Canada, which I will be discussing soon. And you will see, it will help you build confidence. So even if your work right now is you are still on work permit and you're working as a caregiver or maybe something else, use it as a learning experience and start gathering all the skills together. because these are the skills. And I always tell my clients, do not disregard any experience, because whether it's a paid or unpaid job, it is a job and it's an experience, right? So write about your learning. Explore how you could use this learning in the future and other settings. Here's an example, right? My transferable skills with people. So itong ginawa nung bata, right? Like advising, coaching, counseling, individuals, groups. Identify, am I good with groups? Am I good with people? These are some of my coaching, my skills. Taking instructions, serving, helping, representing. Ask yourself, what if in your interests and your values? I like helping people. I like showing people. I like giving information. Right? Are we getting somewhere? Yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you. It's inspiring.
Okay, so step 6, how do I get there? Create your own action plan. Review your assets. Okay, this is what I mean. Review your assets and skills. Match assets to job posting. So we will discuss this fully. I'm just gonna give this as a primer, and set goals to create your action steps. It's important to set goals for yourself, right? So now that you have assessed yourself, you'll make better career and school decisions. You can present yourself better to employers. You can show employers and schools how your interests, skills, and values fit the program or job, right? And you save time and money too. I always say, what is your return on investment? Some people, they come to me, Jane, I'm a newcomer to Canada. I don't have this. I don't have this. I have this and I have this. I need to go back to school. The first thing they would say, go back to school because I don't have Canadian recognition or something, education. Usually it's not the first thing you need to do, right? Because you might have all of this.
Yan po dati yung nasa isip ko din, kailangan mong magbasa ulit, mag-aral ulit.
No. Unless, sabi ko nga, if a highly technical, kagaya ni mention ni Ellen, if you want to go back to school as in sonography, but if you have a background in sonography, you need to it's a regulated profession, you need to go to the regulating body. Right?
Right.
If you want to be a medical technologist or technician and you are an admin assistant before and your education is in education and you want to become a medical technician, of course, what do you need to go back to school to get the medical technician diploma so that you could work as a medical technician because it's a regulated profession.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But there are work, for example, I'll give you an example. Architects, internationally trained architects cannot practice as an architect in Canada because it's a regulated profession. So to call themselves as architects in Canada is a big no. So anong gagawin nila? Can they work as architects? They cannot call themselves architects, but they can work in the architectural industry and construction. They can work as architectural technologists. They can work as AutoCAD designer. They can work as drafter. They can work as sketch designers and so on. They can work on all these fields, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people. I've seen, yung pinaka-first na doctor na refugee from in 2016 who came to Canada so sabi niya, well, I cannot practice as a doctor, pero you know what he's doing right now? He is now working as not as a doctor, I think, but as a someone in the insurance, as a medical adjudicator. So what am I saying here? What I'm saying is you can always transfer all the skills that you have into other lines of jobs.
Oops.
Because there are jobs that are regulated, highly regulated, and there are jobs that are not regulated. Okay? Did we accomplish something tonight?
Oh, yes.
Of course.
Right? So this one has assess yourself, explore careers, create a plan and set goals, and find a job, manage your career. So think about how long will it be until I become a permanent resident in Canada, or until I'm done with my job right now as a caregiver. What things can I do while waiting? It's very important. I'd like to show you, let me just show you something very important to show you yung mga skills na needed within the Canadian context, so that you will have an idea kung ano yung mga tinatawag nila na essential skills. I think it's important to to see what are essential skills. Okay, so let me just show you before we I don't know where I put that. Where did it go? It's kind of slow. Okay, these are the essential skills right now that screen one. Within the Canadian context, ito yung mga essential skills, okay? So meron tayong tinatawag na 9, I think. Reading, right? A typical applications ng reading is scanning information, read to understand and learn, to critique and evaluate. Workplace examples would be, for example, airline agent, or sales rep, or yung front desk, right? You need all of these things. Community examples, you may use this skill to understand, for example, a lease agreement. For example, you're a real estate agent, right? So you need documentation and reading, document use, finding and understanding or entering information. So if you want to work in the pharmacy, you still need to read documents. You still need to read yung mga reseta, right? Read signs, labels. So reading, document use. Numeracy, mathematical skills. Even as a customer service representative, you need your numeracy. Sa pagka work as a cashier, you need numeracy. Writing is very important as well. When you write reports, emailing, like simple communication skills. Oral communication is very, very important. This is something where I always say, it's important to communicate your value and be able to communicate clearly, because this is where newcomers usually are having, like sometimes somebody would come to me and say, well, I went for an interview, I did not, they said that I'm overqualified, or they said that I don't have Canadian experience. And I said, it's probably just the way you communicate, right? Identifying your skills will be a very big thing, because they ask you, in what capacity have you done this job? So oral communication is very important. Working with others, teamwork, right? You need to have the initiative. At the same time, you need to have teamwork. Thinking, this is very important as well, right? Or computer use. Continuous learning is something that's valued all the time. Especially kagaya sa amin in our workplace right now, dahil nagka-COVID, everyone has to come to work in our houses. So what did we need to do? I had to learn how to do Zoom. I had to learn how to do this. Yung learning ko in 2 years, I had to learn it in 1 month. Kasi kailangan mabilisan to deliver services. Right? So it's very important. These are the essential skills that's needed within the Canadian context. Right? So if you have these skills, then practice them, and I don't have to worry if I were you. Now, why? Because there are ways of getting this. One, you can volunteer. You could speak to a mentor, a coach, somebody. You can do information interviews. You can learn online. There are free courses online, mind you. I know that in some of the restrictions, I know you're not allowed to engage in education and so on, but there are some courses online that are for free that you don't even have to register. There are communication courses. LinkedIn alone has communication courses. Udemy, Coursera, edX. These are all free online tools and learning management systems, and also courses and schools you can participate in. Even without paying, because there are free tools.
Ma'am Jane, can you give us the link?
Yes.
Para makaano kami
you can get started, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, for sure. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. I add you sa Facebook kung ma-add mo po ako para mabigay yung mga links. It's more easy.
Yeah.
Or email address, whatever. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, did I show you was I able to show you the screen of the essential skills? No?
No, maybe I wasn't there.
Or maybe I didn't get to share it actually.
Okay. Yeah, wala pa rin po
Right.
ako
Ito.
nakita. Picturean na lang namin.
Oh, no,
Wala
you can
po,
have
ma'am.
it.
Yeah.
Wala pa?
Wala pa po.
po.
Oh, you can have it. I'll send it to you na lang eh.
Okay, thank you.
Oo. I'll
Thank
send it
you.
to you.
Okay.
Okay. So these are some of this, and the other one is can you see my screen? No?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is from Bloomberg. Ito yung mga industry. In all industries, makikita mo on the left side are work-related experience, adaptability, less common, less desired skills. Pero ang less common na skills naman, pero more desired would be strategic thinking and leadership skills, problem solving, and communication skills. See that? Highly desired. More desired. Less common pero very, very, very much desired. Meron yung more common na very much desired would be analytical and collaborative. This is another thing that we need to talk about later, yung collaborative skills, right? Ability to work collaboratively. And then less desired yung global mindset, entrepreneurship. Go towards yung mas kailangan nila dito sa global setting. Strategic thinking, problem solving, leadership, communication, analytical thinking, and working collaboratively. Is very important. Yung teamwork is very important. Why communication skills? Bakit mataas ang communication skills? Because this is how we do business, right? You talk to people, you negotiate, you need communication skills. You do conflict management, you need communication skills. And part of it is also customer service skills, right? Okay. So, I'm just gonna go back to my previous screen. And just this one. So I think I'm done for tonight. Do you have any questions so far? May katanungan pa ba kayo? I think I'm good with time.
May itatanong lang ako, Ma'am Jen.
Sige.
Kasi nag-a-apply ako ngayon ng residensya, PR. Kasi yung education ko is not kasi 2 years lang po ako. So paano po yun maano ako dahil ang sinasabi nila mag-aaral pa daw ako ng 1 year. Is this true?
Unfortunately, that's something that pagdating sa what do you call this, requirements sa immigration, right? That's something that I'm not really clear about. I'm not sure and I don't know, right? So
pero meron silang sa akin na mayroon daw na CES na tinatawag nila, yung bang parang okay lang yata yun kasi dalawang option yata yun ang tinatawag nila eh.
So you want to consult with a settlement worker kasi mas mas alam nila yung process for becoming a permanent resident in Canada, right? So that's something na unfortunately hindi ko masagot yung something that I cannot answer.
Ate Ram,
okay, just asking.
Magpapa-assess po kayo sa WES kung makapasa po ng 1 year.
World,
Opo, World, yan.
Education Service.
Sabi.
No po,
Pag yung magsasabi kung mag-evaluate sa credentials niyo.
So yeah, if you're asking about credential evaluation, mayroong ICAS, mayroong World Education Service.
Mas maganda po sa kanya yung ICAS, Ma'am
Toronto.
Jane.
Yes, ICAS is pwede mong i-send yung photocopy ng iyong documents. But as far as the eligibility,
what you mean of ICAS? Ano yung ibig sabihin ng
international credential assessment.
Oh, I
Sila
see.
sila yung assessing body na recognized by Canada. But if you're asking me about the eligibility requirements tungkol sa pagiging permanent resident, then of course you will have to ask somebody else about that. But in terms of credential assessment, that's where I can answer you. Right?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
May tanong lang po ako.
Sige, sinong tatanong?
Si Ellen ulit.
Ellen, yes.
What if yung comparable mo ng iyong studies is the same as dito sa Canada?
Great.
Pwede
Hindi
ko
po.
bang magamit yon as my engine? As halimbawa,
Of course.
kung gamitin ko siya, yun ang pasukan ko ngayon siya. So, kailangan ko pa bang ituloy yun? Or may additional pa ba? Or is that
Ano yung program mo?
program ng
Ano yung course mo sa Pilipinas?
BS HRM? And
Okay.
then bachelor's degree din dito.
Okay. Was it assessed as bachelor's degree?
Yes,
Okay.
WES. Inassess po nila ako as a bachelor's din na for degree. Ang tanong ko lang po, kung halimbawa nga pumasok ako sa industry ganon, sa mga hotel o whatever na food industry, kailangan ko pa, it is okay na po ba yun? O kailangan ko pa talagang additional courses, additional subjects?
I don't think so. It depende sa ina-applyan mong trabaho to as well, right? So,
Okay.
so for example, this is what yung sabi ko nga, especially kaya nga meron tayong World Education Service at saka yung mga credential assessments. So, hindi lang kayo ang dumadaan, like even permanent residents, they go through that as well. And they are and once na meron kayo noon, tingnan nyo, basahin nyo yung job posting. Ang posting nakalagay doon, look at the job posting, right? I think I should show you an example of a job posting. What they need, for example, is say for example, ang kailangan lang nila is customer service. I think, let me give you an example para, we have enough time. I think we have 3 minutes, right? But let me show you an example para alam niyo yung what I'm saying and what I'm talking about when it comes to job posting, right? So let's say, for example, let me just share my screen now. So, so let's look at the job posting. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes po. Go.
So for example, we want to do hotel plus anong kind, let's say customer service, right? Say for example, customer service. Or what kind of job do you want in a hotel? Front desk?
Front desk.
Okay. Plus
concierge.
jobs. Concierge, right? Plus jobs. Plus Toronto.
Yeah.
I want to show you an example of a posting. And this is how you will see if you are qualified for a job or not, right? So let's look at this one, John Howard. So we have, yeah, they are hiring. Pero ang mga hotels kasi ngayon, they are, di ba, yung medyo, sila ngayon. So look at the response, look at the education.
Minimum 1 year customer service experience.
Grade 12 or
similar.
similar. Minimum 1 year customer service experience in Kingston. Required education, high school or equivalent.
Okay.
Required 1 year. Now, what are the responsibilities of the job? Enthusiastic, highly motivated, guest-driven with ability to solve problems. Remember? Problem solving skills, communication. Excellent interpersonal experience, written and verbal. Flexible to work shifts, overnights, mornings, evenings. Driven in high pressure situations. Answer telephone calls. Okay, now you ask me, do you have to go back to school?
No.
Are they asking for an HRM?
No. Okay.
No. Before you go and do your education and everything, my suggestion, which we will do in the next workshop, is to explore careers. explore the job postings, identify what they're looking for. Now you already know who you are, what you have to offer. And then identify job postings and say, okay, now I can apply for this job because ito lang ang hinahanap. Concerts, for example. Ito ang kailangan nila. Report incidents and so on. Notification, take seriously under obligation human rights. Hindi ko mahanap kung nasaan yung kanilang so wala namang gaanong answer record and so on, report incidents. I don't see anything. So they're all front desk. Ito manager. Okay, when you go higher, the higher you go, the more skills they're looking for, qualifications. Demonstrated ability to interact with people, 4 years or more progressive hotel rooms management experience. What kind of experience are they looking for? Hotel rooms management experience. Are they looking for it outside, for an experience outside Canada? No. Hotel room experience. Must possess the following strengths: high energy, entrepreneurial experience, customer service. What are you seeing there? See, it's very important you read the job posting. And that's the reason why I say evaluate your skills against what the jobs are. Good. Any other questions?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yan ang hindi po namin alam dito kasi akala namin basta caregiver ka lang,
Caregiver
kung ano
ka
lang,
na.
nawawala na yung pinag-aralan mo. Akala namin kukuha pa kami uli ng bagong course or whatever.
Update lang kayo ng konting skills kung kailangan yung mag-update. Especially pag 10 years na kayong wala sa job. Siyempre, kailangan. Say for example, 10 years ako na hindi nagturo kunwari. 10 years ako hindi nagturo, tapos babalik ako sa pagtuturo. Eh di, medyo rusty yung aking skills.
Opo.
I need to update my skills. But I don't have to go back to school again. The reason lang that I took certificate in adult teaching kasi dito, if I want to have my license, my certification with CTDP, kailangan ko yung mga nun. Dahil itong ang ginagawa ko, right? So all of this. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Ms. Jane.
Thank you so much.
Thank you sa ating mga participants. Napaka-informative ng session natin. We can't wait for the part 2 ng workshop natin. May schedule na po tayo. It will be on March 6. That's also a Saturday. Hopefully, yung mga naka-attend today will also attend dun sa second part. And hopefully, makapag-invite
What
pa tayo
time po, Ma'am Marisol?
I'm sorry?
What time po, March
6
6?
p.m. po. March 6 is 6 p.m. Yung details po, like the link, will be sent to you through email before mag-March 6. Alright? Okay. So, yung seminar po natin today, magbibigay po tayo ng certificate. Make sure lang po na magbibigay kayo or please provide us with your full name. Yung mga nasa thumbnail po kasi I think hindi ito yung full name natin. You can send the details sa POLO Toronto.
Sol, please unmute.
Nawala ang boses.
Sorry. Okay. So, sinend ko yung email address, polotoronto.trainings@gmail.com. Please send us your complete name. Also your address kung saan namin po pwedeng email yung certificates ninyo. Alright? Okay, so just a quick announcement before we go. Next Saturday po, we will have another webinar. That's February 27, 6 p.m. Toronto time. It's all about understanding the difference between the RRSP, RESP, and CPP. We will have Miss May Lumiked. She's a chartered professional accountant as a resource speaker. And this is also...
Ma'am, ano po yung RRSP? About revenue?
Yes, it's more on like, di ba tax season na kasi?
Okay.
So, i-explain yan. Please attend. So, yung difference between the three. Alright?
Magbibigay po kayo ng link din sa email namin?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Everything will be provided doon sa email address ninyo. All right? And again, March 6, yung part 2 ng ating workshop, 6 p.m. All right? So wag
Okay
pong
po.
kakalimutan ang yung email, yung complete mailing address and your complete name. Miss Gemma, I don't think, not sure lang kung nasa ano ka na namin, nasa email list. Please provide us also with your email address, please, para
Meron po,
makapag-send.
ma'am. Binibigyan niyo po ako ng link every
All
time.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, sige. Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
thank you. I'll just check kung nandito si Labat. Alright. Okay. Alright. Okay. Sige. So for more announcement and also kung meron pa kaming please check yung POLO Toronto website natin. We have polotoronto.dole.gov.ph for details and announcements, especially kung may mga questions po kayo sa programs and services ng POLO and OWA. You can also follow us and like our Facebook page, Facebook/POLO Toronto. Right? So this ends our season for tonight. Maraming salamat po. On behalf of the Philippine Overseas Labor Office, our Labor Attaché, Attorney Rachel Sosobrado Nagayo, our Welfare Officer, Maria Lourdes Reyes, sa lahat po ng ating kasamahan dito sa POLO Toronto, nagpapasalamat po tayo sa ating resource speaker, Miss Jane. Maraming salamat. We will see you sa part 2. At sa ating mga participants, sa ating mga OFW, maraming salamat sa pagdalo. We will see you again next Saturday. You have a good night at maraming salamat. Thank you.
Thank you po.
Night.
Salamat. Ma'am
Thank
Jane,
you.
pa-send po nung mga link ng mga
Oh, yes, will do.
Thank you.
I'll send it sa...
Sa Facebook po, inad kita pero ewan ko kung ay nag-mail ay nag-send po ako ng PM.
Okay,
Thank
sure.
you. Nice meeting you everyone. Good night.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
Hope we can meet again.
Sa lahat.
Nandito sa Labat.
Yes. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Labat.
Thank you. Congratulations, Miss Jane.
Thank you,
Thank
Ma'am
you
Sol.
po, Labat. Salamat po.
Bye, Rina. Bye,
Bye,
Miss
Ma'am
James.
Mando.
Bye. Goodbye.
Bye,
Salamat.
everyone.
Bye, Ma'am Jane. Thank you for
Thank you.
the